Namadang Gombo Jetsun Jambe Yanglan Chazan Kange Lodre Jenye Jendo Yeda Nanda Rabzal Jenye Dungun Jeje Zenjir Yeje Toga Lebam Kanda Sebe Zeramare Mundondo Ngalizere Rozo Gola Boje Darz Yela Joju Yande Goda Jendo Yomo Nilum Leje Jado Dozeji Mare Munze Donga Nyuk Jine Jode Raldenam Dene Dajin Saju Darz Yenden Le Do Jaze Dore Jodan Jodan Jonye Jemde Dale Munzen Jam Yalan de Marabazan Om Arabazanand Zeden Jeje Jera Zerenji Tale de Momo Barabzal Kadan Denje Sholo Dobai Lodre Bode Nawazadoso Kanze Dawar de Ba Jose Jewar de Nayang Kombo Jamya de Nyin Keme Baryan Dowar Sho Laso Samba Jaja Changju Semje Kolonge Saldamle Sambar Shu Hangangshi Sambar Javu Shu Jerimba Ni Changju Yu Komrim Rabsal Ni Mare Deni Le Kashe Shu Chubje Tanga Do Jorvi Kapki Ni Tunzen Chok Yubi Ni Danda Shiba Tsondru Ki Paru Do Chimba Dini Shibi Kablare Ta Tsondru Yinang Ni Midun Chok Lelo Pongwa Tunzo Shu Chub Ta Tunjo Top Chok Yubi Nane Ni Shu Chub Che Sumba Nema Nkale Shu Yin
Please start by arousing a pure motivation, that of bodhicitta, thinking that you're going to dedicate the studies for the sake of all beings in order to bring them to the state of perfect and complete enlightenment. And then in that spirit, listen to the teachings. We're studying a guide to the Bodhicaryavatara, the stages meditating on it. And there, among the 4 topics, we're looking at the third one, which is the practices themselves, the mind training. So here we are concerned with the 6 paramitas, 6 transcendent perfections, among which we have arrived at the 4th one, which is the paramita of diligence. And there, yesterday, we have seen how to overcome factors incompatible with diligence, namely the 3 kinds of laziness. And now we'll continue with the second topic here, which is cultivating conducive factors, the 6 forces.
Rangi lekche keza drupala chodo gawra samne namila rewa mebar chowa thangdo lawa chebar gawi pong sagire. Ani azoda kewa drup teba pang chebi kapsu le thangbo chegan so kewe peyon tebe nyemi ani kewe namin denzo la ya rewa kogu yore. Teba je ani dewu denzo la changnang jengnang je kogu yore. Ani ta kale tene ko nyamlen do de yarje chere do yondu ani ko lenda namin je rewa de ani chungru dang go yorwa. Wa di ta te yarje du shimbi kabla ani chegore sung ge jarwa. Ta rangi kewa kazu to du teba kazu to bang kewa du tebang che go re de ani negam je namin do da negam la tene sangbo yong da tende je ani lenda namin do la rewa khaya ma do ba je mi yul de shenpen semjen la tene ta shen semjen la pendo yong ya rani gi ta rewa cheran che go no so je nam dong ngam ba da so nyomong ba de ma me ba cha yi ta tende samje la rewa ma da shen ka se go re namin la rewa me be to ne ne kewa dup de wa pong ya che gen la ne gawa to ne do gi yo ba yi na de la ne chabar gawi pong se gi re sa.
So here, among the 6 forces, right, that constitute conducive factors for the paramita of diligence, we have looked at the first 2, and now we'll continue with the third one, where the text reads, "The force of special joy means practicing virtue with joyful enthusiasm, but without any expectation of a positive result, celebrating all the good things that we do." This is the third force that helps us to cultivate or develop our practice of diligence. When it comes to practicing virtue, as it says here, with joyful enthusiasm, right? As complete beginners on the path at that point, we should be concerned with the benefits, what will come out, what the great results will be achieved through doing something good and meaningful, and what are the faults of not engaging in wholesome actions, but on contrary, perhaps doing something unwholesome, destructive, and then being afraid of those results, right? Because when we hear about the effects of such bad actions, right, we might feel kind of fear towards those results, and that's fine. As beginners, we should keep this kind of hope for good results, right, and this fear, apprehension towards this kind of suffering or negative results that come from non-virtue. But the more we progress on the path, the less should be our hopes and fears, really. The more we advance, the less we should be preoccupied with like what will come out of this, what will come out of that. So this kind of expectations should be lessened. Yeah, especially here, what is meant by expectation of a positive result is especially getting something right away in return, what it has to do with me, getting something for oneself, right? If I do something, what will I get from that? That kind of attitude should slowly be reduced. Of course, we still have some motivation for practicing wholesome activities, for doing something virtuous, and the motivation should be pure altruism, like wish to benefit beings, and also wish to overcome one's own neuroses, one's own disturbing emotions. Those are fine. That kind of motivation will remain with us. Doing something virtuous with enthusiasm so that it will actually help others, it will serve others, and it will reduce also our own afflictions. But motivation of like getting something, maybe some reward, something, will happen to me, something good, positive, that slowly should go.
Rani top nyambata hajang kyora kyurbana larche tundu reshik tor keksel toru pongsa. Chede ta kewa chub tepa pang tene che ne chanchu sembe choba chube kausu ne kange mabu chayungre. Ne yendren je chawa che minne badang sozu di lui top nyamba semji top nyamba kange da amra tebi kange da che yongdu ane chanchu samba kashe ane semji chigi yang tuen che ka le yoba ina semji mangbo tayo bi semji tamche ye tuen che sengde yongso kono mare ten che chanchu je sem kono lo tangen mangbo shira chungware ta tende kapsu ne kare che war bet lo tangje yo mare sungre ne kapchi nge lega de dana yongu mendo ne mi chig di tonda di chembe yabu jomba tumna ne kapchi nge kola pendo che tu sa mare ne dana subu ya la ka gi mendo ne nesul yang kala khabu cha so reshi kola nge samshayi ma do ba nge sem din kola kadune lo tange me ne namchu ya nga kar so gore lü dang sem da yabu so korangi danga trebi koga yabu chona nge ten kola pendo gi 네 르춘에 당금에 내가 좀 삼샤고 로지 다 대당 대송지 개와 두개 대법방에 나서 받나마 담는다 연구로와 3년 좀 제를 나서 버래 나는 내가 지체마도 나더니 뒤서도 또 양제 양소도 소보도 야보 쓰주 야는 내술도 또 야로 차주 강에 다 되네 지네 국적으로 와 갑자기 삼샤고 그래서 그게 저마도 배쯤되는 여기에 말해서 딜라는 도를 봉스기래 맞어.
Then there's the fourth force, here translated as the force of moderation, which means to clear away hindrances by resting for a while whenever we are physically tired or disheartened, in order to continue with renewed vigor shortly thereafter. Now, sometimes on the path towards Buddhahood, while practicing what's virtuous, trying to refrain from non-virtue, practicing bodhisattva trainings, we encounter many difficulties because it's not that easy to practice the paramitas and engage in the bodhisattva trainings. And we might get tired, we might get physically weak, exhausted, and also we might get really discouraged, mentally disheartened, because trying to benefit even one single being, we see that that's not easy. Sometimes it's hard to even accomplish benefit for one. And then we might think, well, what to say about everyone? And we kind of get so overwhelmed and give up. And actually, in the history, the bodhisattva trainings, there were many, many practitioners who did give up on their bodhisattva commitment because they just kind of got very discouraged, understanding that, well, it's really, really hard to benefit all beings without exception. And so they gave up. And here then, what is really, useful is to rely on this force of moderation, of kind of, dispelling obstacles by means of taking a break. At that time, when we feel disheartened, when we feel tired, instead of just like giving it all up, right? We should just take a break, rest for a moment, right? And, we can recuperate, gain our strength back and think like, okay, I will try to do this work later. Right now, the situation is such that I just don't have what it takes. Perhaps I'm physically weak or I'm mentally discouraged. Whatever it may be, I just don't feel I'm up to it. And instead of just completely, giving up, we should just think, okay, so this is a good moment to rest, to withdraw for a while so that I can recuperate and then come back with, renewed vigor and keep working for the welfare of all beings. So this is the force then of kind of withdrawing for a moment, here translated as force of moderation.
Temba dang xie ji ko ne nyomong jumbi chawa lulang ne pangja jumba lulen ji to. Ta changju senpa ji chue chuba nyamnen chebe kapsu ta gadu ina yang sem temba tembo yuan chen da xie yakbu kuwe de kashimba shu chagu yore. Temba ko parjin chuk ji nyamnen denzo che de kangda kanyamba de mache ba kogurwa. Ta lunga yisum ji parjin chuk ji nyamnen kano dogu mindu. De midun chok ane serna dang suja dang kongro dinzo kala dogu mindu. Ta de xie ki takja dang dego gore. Xie gadu ina pe ta ko takja dang temba ji mache ba chana dende mutu ne roa ina ane ko megewa dinzo ma kala jom yungoro megewa ji gyula kyewa ina lamsang ko gosu tugurwa o megewa lepsongsa. Lepsong tenyang ko nyembo kare tuen gogu dong takda ten chogu yore. Xine roji kome na xine ki nang midun cho kare legu do. Yang ta kandar nyomong dinzo cho dinzo jomya la gadu ina chadu yobachi. Leba da namsang ko takda tanda nyembo ten tubachi che gore. Dila lulin je top sigre esa. Nasong.
The next force is the force of sincere application, which means to overcome what is to be abandoned, devoting ourselves to the vanquishing of the disturbing emotions by employing mindfulness and vigilance. So these are the really important practices, the important tools that we need to employ while practicing the paramitas, while practicing bodhisattva trainings, the tools of mindfulness and vigilance. So how do we implement those techniques on the path? Well, mindfulness would be to constantly recollect the practices, right, their essence, the way to engage in the 6 paramitas. And then vigilance would be the kind of this alert, vigilant introspection where we would check, what am I doing right now with my body, speech, and mind? Am I actually engaging in these wholesome activities and the trainings of the bodhisattvas, or am I falling prey to the opposing factors? Am I lazy? Right? Am I stingy? Am I angry? Am I distracted? Right? All of those kind of non-conducive opposing factors to the paramitas. So mindfulness and vigilance would be two practices that we constantly need to be endowed with so that we can right away notice when we are going astray, right? Then we were like, oh, right now I'm really bound by stinginess. Oh, I'm losing my temper, right? I'm getting distracted, or, my mind gets disturbed and so on. So we can right away notice with the vigilant introspection and apply an antidote, right away remedy it. So that's like how we proceed with the practice of, paramitas. We need to be diligent while sincerely applying ourselves to overcoming those opposing factors by employing mindfulness and vigilance.
Rangi kosum la wang gyurte payo ki tam chenpe labja kun la rawang ki loba wang gyur ki top dang to chubo singere. Tak kosum la wang gyure tab zo de sa payo ra kadwa sabza yabo chabay na sozo semde yabo nyar tubu yore. Sam yabo nyar tubu na kewa kazu chwe na yang chwe tubu yore. Tikpa kazu pang na yang pang tubu yore. Ten kazu sabza mezang tikpa chwe ma chwe sozo hao gogo ma re. Kewa chiga yu me sozo gomba soba dende kanla lao dhugu yu du sabsa yabu che du cheba ina lunga yu sum tsangma sozo rangla rawa yu ba chagirwa sozo rawa chabdi kazu gore kewa kari pecho dangna ya yangda baji ro dhugu yu du wa dende jigo ne dine Tsondru yakbu kawka chocho thonne myutu ne gyunjang dhugu yu ba ina tela wangyuru topsi yu res.
And then the last force, the force that is a conducive factor to our paramita of diligence, is the force of mastery, which means to train ourselves in all disciplines, remembering the advice about conscientiousness and maintaining control over our own body, speech, and mind. Now here, in order to implement the force of mastery, We need to remember about conscientiousness, about this third tool, which usually, right, comes together with mindfulness and vigilance. It's conscientiousness, where we need to be extremely careful and pay attention to what is happening. Right? So when we are capable of noticing, what are we doing, what are we saying, what are we thinking, so vigilant introspection kind of notices, then with carefulness, right? If we notice with vigilance, then with carefulness, we will know what to do now, to stop, right? To avoid, to refrain doing any kind of non-virtue and to keep accomplishing virtue. And if we are always careful in this way, if we are paying heed to what's happening with our body, speech, and mind, then we will gain control over our body, speech, and mind, right? Usually, if we don't notice, then we are not in the control. We are not in control of the situation. But now, with the help of conscientiousness, we are capable of gaining control over our own physical, verbal, and mental activities. And with that control, maintaining that control, we can continue diligently training ourselves in all the trainings in the disciplines of the bodhisattvas.
Nga ba samdhan je parul do chimba la samdhan je mitun chok pangwa tang shine je megba yila chawa ni ne tangbo samdhan je mitun chok pangwa la ni jiden pangwa da namdo torwa ni che ta tangbo jiden pangwa ni rangi pama nimche koryo la so pa koryo la so nang samdhan je chola chane teda ki wangdu gyurna rangi sam tsechikdo nyambar joba mingyurwe teda dan reldi dunze tamche pangde gomba önba la soba rani chikburut ne sungudu. Wata samden gomgen ta ne samden yagboju gomdo yana ane dende cheto tuba yana angi tangbo rabe ta di nangshin rang chekube kyabada kaya mare che rab tu tona tenne kar sore ngazo mi chezo nama te pama nye nye ko chok chomba ta mangbo nyamde tena namdo mangbo legirwa nesul mangbo legire lega mangbo legire ene kom chabe ji kogab tang shinen mikwa yangbo zhuwe ji kogab ra khabo shuyure tene ko ta dul nyen gyong pa chak tang ten mong sum de keja mangbo le yungure tene sem di tse ju de nalya la naldu ne la barji shombo shu yungu yudu ene mi mangbo yosa namla ene shena mate esa wadi sungu yure mi mangbo namla na ta keja ji legirwa yang sanjur ji legire di kangla yang sem yung dugure yang sanjur ji legire di kangla sem yung dugure nyamara neso ra mendale myongdu ni khabu semchejido ne kale khabu yungu yure de yungu yudu zana ange thangbo ta chongsong na ni retro la chin the retro sido zana ta mi mebe saja jala dona de me shara meba mi nyung yube saja la ni wa khangba yana da mena da thak tham da teba ina da thakpo nal teba ina da ta kawa ina da chup khang da khangba zig yo ba ina da te chabre yo mare wa tinde mi shara mi be sa jilo do ne lo te na ko keja dam da shara ko ya me du ni shine mi ba chang mo the la pendo ya bu shu ju yung yu re sung yu re ma da yang yin ji mi ni ritro rang la chin ane chong dang chong jen na la kom je mi sho san de ne se ge yo ma re so zo khang ma na la ya te ne kom kya bi da chu zo chi gi na de ni na re de ne kan no chang an chu ni shu ji na da de ring de la 가서라 내가 용족 삼샤네 내 내가 찍마도네 단에 신내 있는다 하동 있는다 내 거메디인 근데 창마 델로 용족 삼적 전에 운도고 그래 맞아 양티디 내술라면 이제 바르제 도그래 어디 랍디다 류 준절레 온바 나 자주를 온바 sem남도라 온바서 왼손 된 거래 류 준제 왼손은 리랑 리중나 안게당 버래 때문에 간다를 검 잡사 사제도 쿠승보지 주는 되거든 와 동반나 되나다 강발로 되나다 아니 동제나 되나다 쿠승보지 전에 제가 예언데 벌 미망보이나 소소지 강부 시작 강미데 쿠승보 주는 갑지 되게 여래 갑디도 아니 깨져담을 시험해 보고 그래 나네 얘기다 남도 남을 메든 고전 요에는 답지도 용도 도고도 와 다디 답지 안게 담보 주나 되네 가르쳐 그래 시내 다 학동이 나는 시내 검사 사제도 있나 사제도 도 구양 뭐로 임발은 신나다 낙세든도 야고 요나 대야스 야부여래. 레도줄로 돈도여나. 걔나 낙자지지 대발라. 아니 강바도이나 아니 강바 고 땐데야 또 볼보드 강라 대줘봐. 아니 강바티는 고 갑갈라 나공소 고구도다 갑갈라 카르보소고나 디스여지 따티다다 여봐. 그 기공지 요라든지 잡 체제여봐 가서나디 미발라 삼마타야 타야 아니 고 카르바 카르체 나자담 더소고 그래. 어 근데 전에 따티다다 여나 페제 지그래. 아니 나 계제 시주메고 고거로 와. 그 쿠송부치 고구래. 땐데도 볼보 땐데오 지간라 땐야 대제 따티 고그래. 나서
So that was for the parameter of diligence and how to cultivate it by means of the 6 forces, the conducive factors. Next, we're moving to the 5th parameter, that of meditative concentration. And here the explanation has 2 parts. First, there's an explanation of how to abandon factors that are not conducive to concentration, to our meditative concentration. And second, the second part is about working with the objects of shamatha meditation and how to actually engage, in the shamatha meditation, a calm abiding meditation. And so we start by looking at the first topic, abandoning adverse factors. Here, giving up adverse factors, there are 2 subsections: giving up mundane concerns, and secondly, letting go of discursive thought. So when we prepare ourselves for the practice of shamatha, we need to first deal with what's not conducive. So we need to give up mundane concerns and let go of discursive thoughts. So let's look at giving up mundane concerns. The text explains, as regards renouncing mundane concerns, our mind will never settle into a state of one-pointed absorption as long as it is under the sway of attachment to parents, relatives, and friends or attendants. So we must give up all of our habitual preoccupations and busyness and remain alone in an isolated place suitable for meditation. Now, when we are interested in seriously accomplishing shamatha practice, the best would be to let go of our mundane concerns, this busyness, hustle and bustle of city life, and go to a quieter place, retreat. Of course, this is not absolutely necessary in a way if it's not possible for whatever, for whatever reasons. That's understandable, but here the text provides us kind of like the best case scenario, right? So in the best case scenario, we do take some time off so that we are not preoccupied with our usual concerns and agendas, this kind of busyness of taking care of family members, relatives, friends, right? Maybe trying to tame our enemies, protect our family. If we are busy in this way, there's less chance for us to accomplish calm abiding, this kind of a shamatha practice, right? Because we constantly have something on our minds, like worry, some kind of agenda, or some all this we call mundane concerns, right? That have to do with families, enemies, job, money, and so on. So if we're able to take some time off, then what's recommended is to go to a quieter place. It doesn't necessarily mean like completely isolated. It's hard to find a place where there's no single human being, but at least less people, less crowds, right? It could be a mountain play like heritage, could be retreat house, could be cave, could be just a small like house in the woods, right? And basically the main point is that we retreat to a place where we don't need to speak too much. This is really important, not to, where we don't need to attend to too many things and speak with too many people. So it's not that we're not allowed to stay in the city. It's not like that. Yeah, if if there's a place in the village or in town where we stay, that kind of like a place where we can spend a few hours meditating, right? Maybe if we can't 2 hours, 1 hour, even just half an hour. But a place where we are left to our own devices, like really where no one runs into the room, starts talking to us, right? So if we can't go off to forest or mountains, it could be our usual dwelling place, right? But the main point is that we shouldn't be too preoccupied with other things. So when we do sit down to practice shamatha meditation, we put an end, we hold all other activities. So at that moment, we should find basically time and space where we can attend only to a practice of meditation without distracting ourselves to anyone or anything. So of course, therefore, it's recommended to go to solitude. That's kind of the best option. It's guaranteed that there we will be left to our own devices. There's not many things to do. There's no internet. There's no one to speak to. So we basically we can't help ourselves but settle into flow of meditation. Of course, if we can arrange this kind of situation in our own house, that's okay. It's just that it's harder. It's harder, but it's fine. If we can find a quiet place, kind of if we can, perhaps we will have to close the windows, make sure that, if we need darkness, we can dim light, or if we need more light for practice, we can turn on light. We, basically make all arrangements that we have that quiet space and time for ourselves, for our practice, right? So retreat, when we speak of retreat, it's literally in Tibetan means drawing a boundary. Yeah, making a boundary. And by retreat, we mean drawing a boundary to our body, to our speech, and to our mind. So with our bodies, retreat boundary would mean that we really dissociate ourselves with the usual busyness, with the usual hustle of our lives, right? So settling in the quiet place on a comfortable seat. Yeah, we need to arrange a comfortable cushion, comfortable seat, and we sort of there with our bodies. Boundary means okay, no one can come and pester us at that time. With our speech, retreat means making a boundary so we don't speak too much. Possibly during meditation, not at all, but ideally not much. So this kind of a boundary where we cut off our speech. And with our minds, the boundary would be trying our best to reduce discursiveness in our minds. So the boundary would be retreating ourselves from our discursive thoughts, pacifying them, right? So in this case, we can see that to accomplish shamatha, we need to, when it comes to giving up mundane concerns, the best scenario is that if we can go to a forest, a mountain, right? But if we can't, at least, have a proper setting, time and space in our own house for the session of meditation, right? So this is an important prerequisite. We can't accomplish shamatha while we are running around talking to someone, being all over the place. Well, so we need to create this kind of conducive environment for our practice.
대리야 녀바당 고르디 되바당 년다 잘고지 여제소라 차네 대나 돈돈년다 양동배 람라 버도 주베 탐젤라 레독체데 강중대 졸라라서 다시네 이번에 가서 그 장주 토배치도 시내 공간 강사이나 에는 아주 제된 최제된 저 방고를 쓰고 이래 또 미카시지 고시네 야부 공부도 그 쳐봐 야부 제도도 되는데 저 되발라 레와메바 아니 콜라데네 가서 녀바도 당 미지네 샤도 쉬지 쿠르디도 당 아니 깨라 좀 라서 받다 된저 칼라인 레도메바 지고 이래 나 거랑 다 디노문에 다 레토 드림겐 옛날저 방문에 있나 다 디노저 다다 중나 야보러 와 원에 랍 중나 테라레 티 그래. 나도 쳐봐 약부 인다 민제세 지든 쳐게 된 거는 지금도 지금도 따야 돼. 지든 쳐게 된 맞춤도 누구여나 딱고 쳐봐 약부래. 지든 쳐게 때문에 매바 차바인 때문에 서토바이나 딱고 된 가서 그래. 살아내 장주 삼바선 다 샤도 그러와. 된데 인도 나저게 내가 다 그런 강나 강 거기에 봐. 되네. 다가는 tunjenda chawa dhigi na tira nge dhigba na tuyba dagaran de shoshe che koro ma da tarung ngazo mangbo jiga kuyanang dhaba chumbo che so na en ko di kang dhebi kang la yang dhugara ma do kumdruk nyamnen kang la yang dangbo jun dhokha bo shu ju yore kwa da di yang dhujung shoshe jiga sekande yang kaya chumbo jire song yin saray lakso
Kunso di chuge di shegi mendo ne kashi da chik chatsang shuna geji yana
jidan choge de kaya chumbo shirare jidan choge
re
konya di
inen kunso
다디
geji
알어
janka
다디
gyabna
다 지금 초지 정하자면 약간 예바도와 예바
las
토바다 마토 고대
las
중다 마중 대바
las
중다 마중 년다 중 마중 니니 뜻이나 다다 차례
las. Then the text continues, and it states that being attached to rewards and honors, praise or good reputation or trifling necessities and then pursuing them will only obstruct the authentic path. So we must cut through any expectations and anxieties about such things and train in being content with whatever comes our way. So this paragraph is quite important. In a way, it defines who is a serious practitioner, who is an authentic practitioner. Because being a serious, like really committed practitioner of meditation means that one is not preoccupied with mundane concerns, especially when we enumerate 8 of such mundane concerns. And so in order to accomplish the practice, one absolutely has to let go of these 8 mundane concerns. Kind of 8 would be a pair. There are 4 pairs there. Being attached to one and being anxious or kind of, not liking another. So what are those? Being attached to praise, right? That would be something, that if we might get really preoccupied with, and so that will be one part of the pair, right? The opposite would be criticism, then being anxious about criticism. Then again, another pair is attachment to honor or fame, right? This kind of rewards, being known, being honored. Well, the opposite would be being, disgraced and being anxious about like being disgraced, right? The other pairs would be being super attached to gain, getting something, gaining, and being really afraid of loss. And the last one will be really attached to this kind of trifling, you can say, superficial joys or happiness, like constantly wanting this kind of like, we can say superficial happiness and being afraid of pain. And these are the 8 mundane concerns that a serious practitioner of the Dharma has to watch out for. Actually, we say that whether one is a good practitioner or not entirely really depends, comes down to whether one has or has not abandoned these 8 worldly concerns. If one is still interested in being praised, being honored, having some gain, having some happy moments, right, fishing for it, wanting more, that's going to create obstacles. It will obstruct the authentic path to enlightenment. And so it's really important to not have a really strong interest in such things if they come your way. If someone praises you, if it happens, you gain something, it's fine. Accepting it, but not wanting more, not looking for more. So contentment is a key word here, right? Being satisfied with whatever comes one way. If it is praise, so be it. Maybe it's criticism, so be it, because it will change. There will be a lot of praises, criticisms, there will be honors, there will be disgrace, and it will just keep coming, coming. And if we overly preoccupied, it will take our mind away from the authentic path, right? And so a really important practice then is to be content with a few have few desires and be content in one's own life. And that will help to accomplish the authentic path to enlightenment.
Nyeba namdo torwa ni Lu Wember Nation Hajang Yujesu Donu Minyang Sem Debe Wando Kurna Samden Alma Gula Meje Hing Sem Yamarjung Minube Teda Panguyos Ta Lu Dunzele Wembache Ruju Wembala Jim Teba Inada Sozo Nangla Shanala Ta Kangme Nala Kosumbo Chile Tende Tene Teba Inada Sem Gita Miten Kudin Namdo Saman Den Jidin Tamjela Judo Chetena Yang Shine Yabuju Marwa 대한 기내제 교육 체쇼인데 남도 대한 난 내가 지금 삼조 제고를 쓴 거래. 남도 삼조 제고에 레데 레 당법에 신내 범위가 남도 망하게 그래. 그 당보 신내 디코런 로단도 좀망 자지 자도 말도 페지 자주 급주 고고 된대래. 그 남균소도 남도 망보 샤르기 이래데 남도라 남도 이 망외전 마제상 남도 망보 샤르기 메셔라 도나 중요 말해. 다가 남도 탐제 빵기인 칸 책임에 전하는 신내도 범용도 땐과 남도 망보 쇼지 샤령 그래. 다디 인디 남도랑 어진 제타 도바 다른 게 되게 그래. 디 된데 갑자 양고 나서 자야제 되게 얘기 간다 뿡 가서 뿡 뒤에 봐뿡 배제 납 시바디 뿡 시바디 다고 되게 가서 냠는 차 그래. 뭐 남도 망보 쇼칼에 큰 칸에 짠라 그러면은 도스 흘려대 양 무튼에 검제 배선제 양 남도 내내 진짜 뒤서 통동라 망보지 아니 신내 검제 통동 망보 검제 배선제변은 갈래 근데 남도도 중도 그래 남 당번 남도 망보 영해야지 뭐 배천이래 건도나래 그냠 신내 냠용 당보 사비지 냠용아 그래 냠용아 나네 되네 냠용 당보지 뒤서 갑도 되네 레거와 요 냠서 그래 되는데 대 제단 남도 남도 제 삼샤라마도 라브 요래데 남도 레비용 그래 되네 주나
And that was for the first adverse factor, our mundane concerns. And now, for letting go of discursive thought. And the text states, even though we may be in an isolated place, not seeking possessions and such like to, to any great extent, if our minds fall under the power of desire, a genuine state of meditative concentration will not arise in our being, and our mind will be unable to rest in a state of absorption. Therefore, thoughts of desire must be given up. Perhaps we find ourselves in a quiet space. Could be a retreat house in the mountains, could be just our room in the townhouse. But even if we have isolated our bodies from all this kind of busyness and hustle, we will come to know that there's still a lot of busyness happening in our minds. And there's so many thoughts that constantly pass through our minds. So what is important for accomplishing shamatha practice is to try to pacify the thoughts, meaning that try to reduce the amount of thoughts, basically like not trying to interfere with everything that's happening in the world, kind of like being constantly also busy with all this news and other kind of ideas, by trying to just stay calm wherever we are without sort of being overly preoccupied or worried about anything else. So when we do stay calm and pay attention to what is happening inside ourselves, we will come to know that there are a lot of things happening inside. And actually, we will be perhaps even taking aback because, well, there are more thoughts than before. Suddenly, we come to know, well, actually, now I'm thinking way even more before I started meditating. And this is fine. This happens to maybe, let's say, not absolutely everyone, but at the very least to 90% of people who are starting to meditate. They think, they feel, they experience that they now have much stronger thoughts and much more discursiveness. And it is only the case because now such practitioners are noticing what was always there along with them, but they never paid attention. So it's not that they start thinking more, it's only that they're noticing more. And it's fine. One shouldn't worry too much. Just notice, yeah, this is the case, noticing all the thoughts. And perhaps if it's really too much, if it gets to the point of being kind of a feeling overwhelming, then we should apply the fourth force from our, six forces of diligence, which is the force of moderation, and sort of retreat or, withdraw for a moment, right? So that we can come back with renewed diligence and vigor. So take a break, basically, rest. Don't push yourself too much trying to break it, all the thoughts to the point that it will just like collapse or it will explode. Take it easy. If you notice it's too much, rest and then start again. And then if it's again too much, then again rest. And so we actually, as beginners, recommended to do short sessions of meditation, but repeated many times. So we do take a break. And with time, the more we engage in this practice, the more we will notice that our thoughts do indeed decrease. We are not anymore that having this full heads, right? At the beginning, that's normal. This is actually a sign that we are now meditating. It's a first experience among 5 experiences that we go through on our path to accomplish the shamatha practice, this kind of meditative concentration. The first experience known as the experience of movement. And that's absolutely normal that there's so much movement. So we just have to notice and then relax and take a break if it's too much, right? And then resume again.
Khebar kongme tingen zin khebar chin topala dubi chala lo bande kalchewe kyu drubar kaba ngo mizangwa yinba drivu nuba mawala soba nuba mawala sola sanne yul pime ji sebala lo nge cha sigire tanga zo hine le tangbo ba korang da kaswa hine mikpa kanya rumba jila pamyong nu mikpa de rinbe dro ne tene dosam tse ba je thobe yore dosam tse ba ji tingen zin de khangla ani hine samden ngo shi shine ke gre ta dosam tse ba ji tingen zin yenche de den debe kham dang gi yulla tene chemba da chaba yoba yina yang dosam tse ba tingen zin de kyula ke tu borwa ta de yala samden ngo shi samden shi yore samden thangba ni ba sumba shi ba samden shi de khangla tene yang sume ji kinji mo shi je samden je le yang gre Tezo samden de rangyula tena ke kogo yona debi de kasore desha de pang mamado ne kasore samden ngoshi de kyule ke to marwa tena samden ngoshi kyule ke kogo yona ne karson debi de ja pang kogo yore debi de ja pang kogo yona tena cheda samden tabje damena mangbo yore tabje da dinara tabje chik song do tabje chik kar song ra ngarang so yi mi sozo ji lui na da henje lui na da 포지 몰라 이나다 뭐에 폴라 이나다 낭편저 찍을라 되는 셴밤 차밤 저바제 윤거리 디 차바데 답방고래 숨고래 디 방고는 아니 가르 탱고래 시도잖아 나주 밀류디 가르서 거래 디 가주 규주베 깔라카보다 가성고 달주 조제시비 값수 밀류디 토베 하고 쉬이 맞지 계제시래 kale khagure de milu subu di ta dos ta tena mezang ze sumju soni de rangshin res la ge yere sumju sojuk se dura sumju soni am sojuk ngazo sobula tha da na da chuser nang ta ndamena mangbo ji yongro ne rangshin ngara zo subu de ma tu zangma ma ja rangshin shana subu de hajang ge zore ko 제대로 막보 제 장모 막보 속에 장 제 박바든도 장모로 줘요와 낭낭 알로 잡서는 때는 가서 수고 마직 쇠샤서나 근데 다가 샤샤나 근데 갈래갈라 타는 데는 나래 되는 추스르 된 어떤 루 되는 보잡 제거도 와 다디디 수고 자랑신데 매장 와 뭐디 매장 와래 스베게 저다 다 드우나바 마와 나랑신도 수고는 저 지지로 송접 제거는 갈래 막보 요래 다스민 초바자고래 다사고그래 땅 아주 지든 감미 망보지드네 가르서 오래 갈래 망보 자이드 류 쳐야 제대로 와 소불로 돌 코에 돌어주고 그래 니 아버지 냐고 그래 아니 할아저사 고그래 다디 수부 쳐야 줘도 되는 니당 세당 돌어든지 고고도 대지도 되는 갈래 망보 자고 그래 되네 다 망보 사고 초바 망보 자고 그래 녀도 망보 준 그래 상마 때 저야 내가 망보 정도 딜라테네 메게 망보사 냐와 이달라서바 제 교양 제시기로 와 근데 인도네 랑다 이나래 현지류이나래 아니 데네라니 착바는 셴바 맞제 스베게 자래 메상오도 곰고레스 마도 바양 미카제 소불라테니 메상 와란신제 착바 셴바 맞제라면 소부도 육샤는데 랑시 자군 영스기래 데네 제주메라와 소부디 냐 각부 여버 냐는 배주 좀 쉬어요. 내가 창신 제라 맞을라 봐도 당보 여버 만녀스기요 말에. 당보 여버 만녀나 아니 밀루데 양저 가지 토게네 맞아 하고요 말에. 아니 양저 자 단다 밀루 토베 고가 라죠 데라 쳐야고 좀 마토나 아니 겨워자마 쳐 주베 라 말아서 근데 하고 쉬우러 단다 쳐야고 단다 삼아 단다 줍줍서나 사람 제르마 쳐 두그래 제마 코로나래 고고 말에. 지금다니 레고는 삼전지 조던지 쳐도 레고바데 미즈들 소트비기 라원여와 대갑서다 대 남제 발제되 되는 아주 랑신 줄라 착바 첨부 제야들에 어디 맞아 쓰게 잘해
Then the text continues. It says, to turn our thoughts away from attachment to desirable things is particularly important for gaining the special high levels of concentration. So we should certainly turn the mind away from craving after members of the opposite sex by reflecting on the cause, the fact that they are not easy to obtain, their nature, which is impure, and the result, which involves a lot of harm and so on. So when we meditate in this way, when we practice shamatha, right? Here we're in the context of shamatha, which is this meditative concentration. And basically, when we practice shamatha within this realm that is known as the desire realm, and there are altogether 3 realms, desire, form, and formless. So when we are in the desire realm, through practice of shamatha, we can attain the highest state of mind within the desire realm. It's like the most highest one-pointed concentration, but still within the desire realm. And then to even go further, we need to then move on and be kind of in the formless realm, in the form realm, to be in the form realm, then what happens is that our minds, it's not, well, form realm doesn't mean we are reborn there physically, but it's just the states of mind. So in the form realm, what happens is that we traverse 4 meditative absorptions known as dhyana, 4 dhyanas. There are 4 stages of meditative absorption. And so they don't happen here in the desire realm, but it's like the main practice in this form realm, more subtle states of mind. And in order to then go from first dhyana to second to third to fourth, we absolutely have to abandon desire and attachment, especially sexual desire and attachment. This is just to attain the most highest concentration within desire realm, we don't need to abandon that. It's okay, it's possible. to accomplish that. But if we want to go further and really deepen our states of absorption, which kind of results in clairvoyance and other abilities, like a very, very deep absorption and, penetration, meditative, penetration and absorption. For that, we absolutely have to give up that desire and attachment. So one of the methods of giving up is to look at the nature of one's body and the body of others, whether male, female, doesn't matter. Here could be any gender, whatever, right? We are attracted to. And try to investigate the body that we are so much craving and so much attached to. What is the nature of that body? And we really come to see that, that nature of the body is impure. That will help to relinquish our attachment and desire. And by impure, we mean that it's actually made of impure substances, like 36 impure substances. It's right there. If we leave our body without washing it, let's like, we don't brush teeth, we don't wash our hair, we don't wash our body. I just wait day after day after day after day. Body will reverse to its own natural state, which is, it will meet a strong stench, right? Yellow teeth, everything will be very dirty and greasy. And this is just like how it will be unless we attend to it. That is how it is. And also what is inside the body, really. Yes, skin is covering all of it, but if we open the skin, it's not made of anything nice and clean and pure that we are so attached to, attracted to, right? So what's inside? If we have a wound, deep wound, and we just leave it unattended, what will happen? First, it will be blood, but if you really, let it get more and more infected, pus will come, lymph, maybe maggots. I mean, and down below all of that is just bone. It's just pure bone. There's nothing else there. It's just this pus, lymph, blood, all the organs. I mean, this is all what there is to the body, right? And so much fuss about it, right? So many problems, like, as the text states here, we can reflect on the cause. It's not easy to obtain the loved one. So here we reflect on the cause of gaining a lover, how difficult it is to find one. Maybe we need to, win it over, him or her, fighting for the lover. I mean, causing all sorts of problems to other people. And then in the middle, meanwhile, we've seen that the nature is all along impure. So something we're so much attached to and attracted to is not even pure or clean. And the result is that, trying to, let's say having obtained a lover, then we have that one, we have it. But then there's so many problems come after. So many distractions, so many fights that it takes our minds away from the spiritual path and accomplishing, meditative concentration. So if we just think about bodies, they take a lot of time. We need to care for them. It's, all the clothes, all the food, shelter that we need to provide. So there's a lot of, we can say, distractions. And often in order to gain those things that we desire, whether it's a person or whether it's a food, clothes, we need to engage in some unwholesome activities, non-virtuous activities. And if we think about the result of those activities, it will going to ruin our chance for happiness, for happy rebirths, right? So all of this kind of infatuation with one's own and other beings' bodies should be reduced, should be abandoned. Okay, this is not, it's important to understand, this is not to say that we shouldn't care for our bodies and just like disregard them and then they get sick and will die young. This is not an advice, this is not an instruction for doing that. Actually, our bodies are very important. They're like this precious, vehicle that we can use so well, to our own advantage, to really traverse the paths and the bodhisattva grounds and go out of samsara. So we will never need to come back, take birth in samsara again. Okay, we will volitionally, out of compassion for beings, but not like just propelled by our own karma, thrown into samsara over and over again. So we can use this precious human life, which is not so easy to come by. So we have seen that it's actually really precious opportunity that we have, and we should take advantage of it and make our life meaningful by using it, going out of samsara. But using our bodies doesn't mean that we cherish them so much that we have this just really excessive infatuation, this kind of like attachment and desire. That has to be abandoned if we want to achieve one-pointed meditative concentration. They just don't go together. After, you know, after a certain point on the path, when we want to go deeper and practice the four dhyanas, we have to part from that attachment. It will only create an obstacle for our path.
Teba kogudo, ngala teni nyenda kogudo, ngala kurte kogudo, di midun shokdun zo kogu mido, dende rajin namdo kama shuk shumbu shuk na. Dende nga zo, cho yakbo dribe ji parche shumbu shuk shaku yore, dero namdo denzo, ngenpa denzo, chaha na jin teche. Ani, denzo, den roku gore, kaisana, denzo namdo kama shuk shumbu shen yongdu, ani cho choba nyamnen di yaru yaru mando bache, ani kyoru kyoru dhokuru wa. 저 저번 냠네 야도 야노 조고고 요나 가서 가서 그래 셴면 닝자다 장주제 선당 대체로셔로 조고 그래 근데 랑든 예제들로도 체로체로 닝자다 잠바도 총도 데르도 용도 근데 가지는 처지된 저 돼데 네 답변해서 쇼체 타서는 년가 전부 여봐다 공론 냠네는 판도셔는 내 봐라 그래서 가서 깔방 뭐만데 단다 버도 지된 처지 강하라 내 대여상 근데 다다야 심자라래 다도 못인데 다랑기 근데 가서 균장게 요나 양 심자랑은 전에 균장는 줘야래 다 타보다 탐지기면 고마 톱도 요나 지된 처지도 좀 막갈래갈래 마뇽도 당제 빵 토박 제고로 남자 탑스나 빵서인데 영석이 허란 말에 그 갈래갈래 뇽도 당데 도고 그래 소소소소 셈나더냐 따네 내 지든 처지로 도고도 도고 요나 아시다 잔 딩마송 상제다 잠재 선만남제 쓰게되래 데 콘나발 군들 내 담자 제사래 다디 잔 딩마송 하tin 안 지든 처지에 강로 도기 매선 어때네 람상람도 어와지다 야보도 된 근데 개와데 현나 뭐 선전 탐지 안 되나서 용토버 쇼든 때는 야르제 공벨체로 주로 줘야라니 조와당 뽑아도 야게 어때네 제고고 요소래 맞어
Awesome. Then, more to letting go of discursive thought. Moreover, the text states, we must understand that the 8 worldly concerns and all thoughts of the present life are our real enemies. We must reflect, therefore, at some length on the problems caused by negative thoughts of desire and, generating a sense of inner dignity, make heartfelt efforts to abandon them, no matter how many may arise. So we need to understand that among all the thoughts that go through, right, through our minds, these 8 worldly concerns and mundane concerns that we have, right, numbered and some minutes ago, they are like our real enemies. Being attached to our own happiness, thinking, well, I don't care what happens to others, but I need to be happy at all costs. Being attached to praise, gain, fame, right? All those things will, ruin our practice of meditation and spiritual path. And, when we're afraid of the opposites, right? Of criticism, disgrace, we get so preoccupied with all those things that really those concerns take all our attention our practice just gets worse and worse. Really, we don't progress at all. If we only think about those things, am I liked by the others? Am I praised? No, I want happiness. I don't care about others. Then our bodhicitta, our compassion, our loving kindness, all those practices will be diminished, right? Eight worldly concerns are not actually going to help us. This attachment, preoccupation to gaining things and being afraid of losing and so on, actually is not helping us. Even if we worry about being praised and liked and famed, did it really ever serve us any real good? Since beginningless time and samsara, we were constantly worried about those things. And look where it brought us. So still, here we are, still stuck in samsara as worldly beings, right? We haven't reached genuine freedom from all the obscurations or the state of full awakening. So that is a sign that perhaps our usual ways, right, going about things, what we attach to, what we're afraid of, our hopes, our fears, might be, in need of some change, because perhaps they didn't do us any good. So, and understanding that, because we try to work on ourselves, right? Having reflected on the real problems caused by all this kind of negative thoughts, seeing that they didn't really bring us any genuine happiness, then trying to reduce them, we will see that, well, it's not going to happen overnight. It's not like tomorrow we'll wake up and we're completely freed of all those expectations, all those anxieties. But it's a work. It's work in progress. Every day we need to look in our minds and see, am I still worrying about those things? Am I less worrying? And the more we notice, the more we really see, what we are, the more we notice, and the more we can do something about it. For example, if we notice that, well, we did indeed, we had this kind of, let me start it again. If we notice that our minds were really carried away by this kind of mundane concerns and all the thoughts of just this present life and oneself alone, this kind of self-cherishing attitude, then we need to let go. We need to think, well, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are watching over me, and actually all beings, I made the commitment, I made the promise, I took the vow. And now, instead of accomplishing what I have promised, what I've committed to, I'm only worrying about myself and my, trifling petty concerns. So then we will, that will help us. If we notice that, wow, I actually am getting better, I'm more and more free of this kind of worries, right, of these worldly thoughts, then we have to feel appreciation, rejoice, dedicated, make aspiration that may all other beings also be free of those kind of worldly concerns, right? So we can use the power of our vigilant introspection and check every day, check our minds and see, are we improving? Are we still worrying about these things, or are we getting a bit more free? And then, that will help us to slowly reduce these kind of obstacles, these thoughts.
징 되는 아주 니 국축체 잡아 니 주버지 되죠 체진이다 거거로와 하장 니 망잡아다 되네 되게 말와 양 톰톰 지나 욕도로 톰톰 차주는 대한 신내지 버지 징위 나는 센데 너 거바드네 이 남도 원복 공암 고조지 셰바도 율초로 쇼정보 영나 아니 신내야 보지 도도고 요 말에 된저 제다 양 가르서 거다 공명면도 벨레로서 거와 공명면도 산지 공고 남고 나니 공고라 된대제니 레로 대야래 아니 담마 제바 신내 공다제 담마도 제바 쳐서는 되는 편도 가요 말와 양 되는 제제 되는 아주 신내 공부가 남도 가서 징어다 거발라서 남도 다음에 뭔가 레변도 남도 년보 다다다 된 거고요 Tenzo ji namdo maten te nyembo tenzo maten te ba yina deyan pendo ka merwa. Re deyan nyembo ten kogo nyembo ten shuk che tana deyan pendo yo mare. Ko bena sem namyang shuk chumbu chi chorde ba jan namyang ji nyembo ten yang nyembo ji ten. Namyang ji nyembo ten sam namyang de ma cham shak sar rik sawo chile ya darung nyembo mutune ten tana deyan pendo me bare. Tene namdo nyembo 남ing de lasa wadan koran samjo che yang koran ngone shine kare kombo de dimutune dogo yure wa tende je maje baje ani shuk chimbo do shana diang ni shine je ke parje re je chikta yang ke parje chik de de ro shine ya bu chak rog du ta shine la pe to wa shu pe sen chi bo chana de ju kome yun jing chana de ya bu yo ma le dang bo pe de ju tong dong rang düzü tongdong che yun rungpum kasore yun tongdong mangbo komgore go tangbo pena shine komgon kansa di nge tiring karma chonga nisho zamche düzü soyo na han tarang komdogore dawa khashiya chiring la di kapsa shine kapala yakbo yongore kapala pen misir tsana yakbo yongo mare yakbo yongdo tanga tiring yakbo yongo do namdo düzü mangdo tangar che na sani yakbo shara chagi mare düzü ring chana teni pe chala komnying mindo pe chagire 저는 간나 좀 알아서 더 뉴스 좀 들을 그래서 도시야 링도 땅 쪽으로 와. 와 된저 맞아 봤더니 된저 제 상마 디카를 남나 신내지 개 버저래.
Khenpo ji chik ji nyempo ji ali tets manja karesa duche di manja chena duche ya
님보 배제
di
다 휴체 탁 봐이나 되게 말해. 남도 어
Rachine.
배 가서는 배 남도 망고 전되고요나. 야는 거 흘려진 때는 되거라 와. 야는 흘려 많이 봐 그런 게남 님보 담을 셴바된 주된데 연구로 와. 님보 땐 싸우잖아. 님보 휴진 흘려 윤승 장나든 걸 흘려 벨 흘려 자도 그래. 대 편도 좀 와서. 아니 그런 게 님보지 미국 거면 담을 연구로 미국 거면이 남도도 매바 차서는 시선나 네 미국도 참자 있는 그런 신의 거네 가리고 메딜은 도고 그래. 되는 말도 가지 그런 게 님보때가 알아나 로샤나 그냥 디펜도요 말해. 휴체타나 되게 말해서.
So when it comes to adverse factors to our practice of meditative concentration, shamatha, there are quite a few. There's quite few factors besides the one mentioned here of mundane concerns and discursive thoughts. Well, we can say that there are five. No, actually, sorry. Yeah, there are like 5 shortcomings mentioned in the text. So the first one is that, well, the problem when we get either too agitated or too drowsy. This is kind of counted as one. This is the problem that we all experience in our practice of meditation. Drowsy means we didn't get enough sleep, right? So when we start meditating, kind of relaxing, we just fall asleep. We sink deep, get really close, shut down and fall asleep. This is not a practice of meditation. So it's important to get a good sleep before practicing meditation. Not too much, but appropriate amount of time. So then, during meditation, we don't feel like we're going to fall asleep. So we shouldn't be sleep deprived. That will help. And agitation, well, we know agitation means then when we are carried away by all the input that comes through our sense sources, hearing, seeing, right, body touch, so smells. If all these things kind of like overwhelm us, then we start thinking and kind of like going out and of our focus. So we get, that's what we call agitation. Basically, too much distractions will create this too much thoughts. Another one is laziness. So one of the shortcomings is laziness because, well, if we constantly put our practice for later, You know, we will, oh, I'll meditate tomorrow. Today I don't feel like. Tomorrow, when tomorrow arrives, we're like, you know, maybe next week. Well, we're not going to accomplish meditative concentration if we are falling prey to this kind of procrastination and postponing our practice. Another problem is that of forgetting the instructions, right? Forgetting the instructions, forgetting our supporting object of focus. So when we should remain mindful, right? We have some supporting object. We know what we need to be focusing on, but if we forget, that's also going to create a problem. So mindfulness is something that's needed, that's helpful here to remember, to recollect what we're supposed to be doing in our practice of meditation. Another one is then when the shortcoming of non-application of the remedy. So when, for example, drowsiness or agitation have a reason, and we somehow fail to apply an antidote. So there is an antidote that we need to apply. So, right, there's some things that, some methods, some techniques that we can employ. So to feel, to kind of get out of thinking or agitation. And if we don't apply it, that will be a problem with our practice of meditation, because then we will just continue either being too dull or too excited. And that is not a balanced state of meditative concentration, right? But another problem is over application. So this is also, I think, when we overly apply the remedy, when drowsiness and agitation have not a reason, right? And we still kind of overly concerned with the antidote rather than focusing on the main practice of meditation. Or let's say we did have agitation and drowsiness, or one of the two. We have applied the antidote. It got better. We kind of relaxed. We feel calm and clear. And instead of proceeding with our practice of meditation, we still keep applying antidote. Excuse me. You know, we're still focusing on doing something, you know, trying to help us. Well, the whole point was to help us so we now can meditate. So over application of antidote is also a problem. Another thing is that, pushing too much in a way that when we feel our practice is going so well, like today's practice of meditation is, so going so well, I feel so joyful. So I'm gonna do it longer and longer. And this can be problematic, if we kind of extend it too much, it might affect our practice the following days. Today we will feel great doing more, but the following days it won't go as well. So the best would be to decide on an exact time span of our practice of meditation. If it's 15 minutes, it's 15 minutes. And even if and sometimes, so let's say this week it's 15 minutes or 20 minutes. And some of the days, 20 minutes gonna go so quickly, I'm gonna be so at ease, I feel so great, but after 20 minutes, we should stop. Some days I will feel horrible, but we shouldn't cut it short. Today maybe less 5 minutes. So commitment to the exact time will help us to improve. And then, of course, a month or two later, we can decide, okay, now it's not 20 minutes, now I'm gonna do 30, 40. But we shouldn't change it on a daily basis according to how we feel, because then our feelings will decide, how long we want to meditate. Today it's shorter, tomorrow is longer, and that's not going to help us to improve. So we have to decide on the exact time, stick to it, no matter what, no matter how bad our practice is, and sometimes it's really not happening, no matter how great it is. And some days we feel like we're great meditators. Still, commitment, to the exact amount of time dedicated to our practice is important. So there's this kind of different shortcomings, like laziness, forgetting the instructions, drowsiness, agitation, non-application, and over-application, right? And we need to watch out for those when we are after accomplishing shamatha practice. So are there any questions? Audrey?
Yeah, thank you for today's class. It was amazing, as always. So my question is related to, so the Khenpo talked about, detaching yourself from bodily concerns, like relationships and all of that. And I hear him on that. I do understand how relationships can be distracting. But what I want to hear from him is, does he have any advice for people already in relationships who are navigating relationships, but who also want to progress in their meditation practice? I mean, he indicated that it doesn't always go hand in hand, but is there any advice on that question?
Yeah, okay, good, thank you. Then so dan da kaisa samten gi kapsu dampo na so jikten ponva ra yana mare polcherdi tets shonan mare dinipa kapsu chiklev so namtok dorve kapsu na so ti kresa döpe vandu magyuri gitapshi chegores Соводи да дөпеди капсу да соводи на со миксельги ди дö чаклара да чикреса на со пумалаян пумалади до чак соводи мен да чик креса барчерес Тени нади да чик хакугиту ди демпаре да чик тера ди джайона да чик барчион пян да йонгерес Inayan Mika Sheda Dandana Gyoka Yona, the chick da Jupterson, the chick da Yushai Kavayore Yuda, Yores, in the Dun something the Shine Gomigi Dopayan Yores, the Ragom Jubigi Dopayan Yore, Deneyan Mishanda de Chick Nyamdu, Goka the Chick Dan Yores, did the Karichigores, Kempola di Labjayona Sunronan.
맞어. 이 저, 네, 단다디 중에도 저 차와 랍주분기 대라 쇼샤오 송래. 대 시발라 거랑 잡아라. 잡아나 아니든 저로 저 차와 송조래. 미자 인존나 아니 가서 우리 띵은 좀 유튜브 된다 말해. 도토고 답시 셔봐야 먹버디 바르제레 라마도 바디 가서 빵을 탑시 나 망보 나는 찍대래. 인지 민니 대방거를 남다 대한 되게 말아와. 드네 그치제 거랑지 나나 흉들라는 되선це 비 바르도 아주 땡겐진데 룹투베 여래. 되선це 땡겐진 톱도는 섬든데 중중 말해. 하정게 또바 토그래. 제가 저 내가 여신된 룹에 여래. 찍제 아니 아주 가르쳐 그래. 남윤 제당 시내처럼 가래 공고 무튼 여보 건데 봐이나 인지 미니 가르쳐 그래. 잡아 안지 제거야 말아. 미제 제네 네 가라. 로도그로 와. 대로도그 이제 투제당 고도부 되는 난거 말아. 단다디 빼자 거랑지 공부 실시하지는 세는 될라고 그래. 나상제 탑제 자자 망보 송여 봐 인도 탑제 셴바야 망보 샤라지 자여래. 근데 다 가르쳐 그래. nang sanje shashubi kabla sanje loma jalbo ingan mangbo yore chongba ingan mangbo yore konzo sangba choga jemen yorwa kaji choga yore kaji jemen yore konzo tajumba tobuga mangbo jungdowa di danda zowa jabala songjore
Inayanda chika mixelgi labjada
mixel labjada doesn't say jiba pardu nazo drubtu gre doesn't say jiba do sawjal tan jarang zo peje wanglong sanga de wanglong chi den zo xun yogan den zo ingyure dende ina na sanga de gerim zo rum do kamya yore de inde zo no 강반 나라 때 저거 재민 여 봐제 총 잡고는 총 거는 내가 상마 전에 대 냠는 전에 양 람가 가가 인도 대지고네 또바야 파려 여래 단다 도스찬이 되고 실사 돈을 게 제시기도 와 대 갈래 근데 도전나고 말해 단다 람가 찍지고 송래 람가 셴바 돈을 배지 되나 단다 송여 말해 람가 초카갈로도 람가 자도 먹고 여래
So you shouldn't worry it's not an instruction to break up with your partner by any means. There's not an instruction for divorcing anyone. This is just one of the multiple paths to achieve the same goal. In Buddhism, we always have to remember there are so many different skillful means. There's not like one correct path, and it has to suit everyone. There is no such thing. Actually, if we think about context of our text, in Shantideva, who composed Bodhicaryavatara, was a monk. And when he composed it, he taught it to monks and nuns. That's all. So actually, this was, made by a monk and was addressing other monastics. And we need to understand this context. And this is not to say that lay people, cannot accomplish one-pointed concentration. No. It's not that kind of statement, It's not even a statement that absolutely everyone has to be, not in relationship in order to accomplish meditative concentration. This is just one of the methods that suit particular type of people who choose the path of monasticism. So what is possible to accomplish for a lay, married or not married, but person in relationship is again this highest one-pointed concentrative mind of the desire realm. And it's not a small feat. It's actually really, really high accomplishment. It's going to take a while. So, and it's, afterwards, that's a whole another story. But until that point, there's no problem of having relationship. There's no need to abandon anyone while accomplishing shamatha. So one has to remember that Buddha had many disciples, and they came from different walks of life. And so he was very skillful in terms of giving different methods for different beings according to their predispositions and their situations. So many of Buddha's disciples were married disciples, and they had attained the state of arhat, for destroyer, going out, right? Fully purifying all afflictive obscurations. So this is the path of sutra. Our text pertains to sutric path. There are also tantric teachings. Tibetan Buddhism is rich also with tantric methods. It's a special path where you employ the methods of visualization of deities, mantra recitation, and other special techniques to work with your channels and winds and energies. And there's really no prerequisite of being a single person or being a monk or a nun. Tantric practices are very much suited for householders. This is a sutric path. Sutra has a very strong footing in Vinaya rules, monastic rules, but it doesn't mean that we cannot use the same methods as lay people. So when I asked Khenpo, well, but do you have a special advice for them lay people who are in relationship and practicing it? He said, well, I don't really, I guess Khenpo wouldn't be the best person to ask for advice on relationship. So he just means you just need to remember that this is just one of the methods and not to worry about it. Yeah.
Okay.
So we will then dedicate merit.
Sonam de damje zebani tone nebe pamje ne yenga naje bala robai sebe zole roa roarajo chanjo zemjo remboje maje banam je jurje Keba nyamba meba yang Kong ne kong do belwa ra shu